Hello, TK students, it's Mrs. Belitesh, and I have a fun project that you might want to do over Thanksgiving break. You don't have to do it, but it might be fun if you're interested. We have been learning about rocks, and we are going to be spending the next 3 weeks learning about 3 different types of rocks: sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and metamorphic rocks. And igneous rocks are rocks that come from a volcano. And so I was going to make a paper mache volcano over the break, and I thought you might be able to do one with me, because when we talk about igneous rocks and volcanic rocks, I'm going to set my volcano off. So I hope that you are able to join me and make this volcano with me over Thanksgiving break. So if you want to build a volcano with me, these are the things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need a bottle, and you're gonna need some cardboard. It doesn't have to be fancy cardboard. It can be just any old cardboard that you have around. And you want to put a mark a little lower than the top of the bottle. If you do it to the top of the bottle, your volcano is going to be too tall. So I'm going to go about an inch away from the top of the bottle. I'm going to make a line like there. And now I'm going to cut my cardboard. Some other things that you're going to need to have some tape. And then after we build the frame of your volcano, we're going to do some paper mache. So I marked my cardboard, and now I'm going to cut across on that line. Ugh, sometimes it's really hard to cut cardboard because it's very stiff. It's a property of cardboard, right? And I'm going to cut out 4 pieces just like this. So now I have 4 pieces of cardboard, and now I'm going to cut kind of like a cone shape. I'm going to cut up, and I'm going to cut up again on the other side. So I'm going to have kind of like a flat topped triangle. And then we're going to tape them together. So I have my 4 sheets already cut out, and now I'm going to tape them together. So I laid all 4 of the pieces down, and I taped them together, and I taped them on the other side too. So all of those pieces are taped together. Now, it doesn't look like a volcano right now, but in a minute, when we start putting it together, you will see a volcano start to take shape. Okay, I'm going to take my flat pieces of paper, my flat cardboard, and now I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to add tape on the final side. Okay, so here's the shape of my volcano, and you can see my bottle fits in the center. My bottle is a little short. You might want to have your cardboard just a little bit shorter, but don't worry, if it's a little tall, we can use some aluminum foil. We can make a little fun. And actually, it's kind of interesting because usually there's a little bit of a dip at the top of a volcano called the caldera. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little paper mache on top of our volcano structure, and we're gonna start making it look more like a volcano. Now that I have my the frame of my volcano made, I'm going to make my paper mache mixture. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a container, and I'm going to have about ½ cup of glue, just regular glue. And I'm gonna put it in the container. And then I'm going to put less than ½ cup of water. So I'm going to put about ¼ cup of water. And I'm going to mix it in. I'm going to get all the glue out of the cup. And I'm going to put it together in my container. And then I'm going to stir it. And I want the glue to be thinner now. And if it's too thick, I'll show you how thick it should be. But if it's too thick, you can add a little bit more water. You want it to be kind of like a runny glue, not really, really, really thick. I'm stirring it up. Okay, this is better. And I want it to be really mixed in, right? I don't want it to have water and glue separate. I want it to be all mixed together. All right, so I've got my glue, my gluey water here, or watery glue. And then I just got some paper from the recycling bin and I cut it into some strips. And now what I'm gonna do, I got a big piece of wax paper. Wax paper is great because things don't stick to it because of the waxy coating, and it's waterproof. Some properties of the wax paper. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a strip of my paper. I'm gonna dip it into the glue. Here it is. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. I'm gonna dip it into the glue. I'm gonna get some of the glue off. I don't want it to be too wet. And now I'm going to put it on my volcano. Here we go. I'm gonna put it on my frame. And I'm gonna just keep adding these strips as I go along. I'm gonna go all the way around my volcano. And it's okay if it's bumpy, right? Volcanoes are not smooth. One of the properties of the volcano is that it's nice and bumpy because there might be rocks and different things like that that have gone down the volcano, down the edges. And I'm just gonna keep adding these strips of paper and paper mache all the way down the volcano. All the way down to the very end, to the very bottom. And you're gonna see now this is really wet. I don't really have to wet the next layer. I can just kind of put it on, maybe get my fingers a little wet with the glue, and then just kind of paint it on my volcano. And now I'm gonna go all the way around the volcano. Here is my finished volcano, finished with the paper mache part. Now you see, after I did the first layer of the paper mache, I went back and I added a lot of bumps because volcanoes are not really smooth, are they? They're bumpy and rough. It's a property of a volcano. And I wanted my volcano to look kind of more real. So I added some kind of crinkly, folded up pieces of paper mache, and now I'm going to let it dry. It's going to need to dry for at least 1 whole day, maybe even 2 days, and then we're going to paint it. Hi guys, so it is the next day. My paper mache has dried, and you can see my volcano is kind of bumpy, which I like because that's how a real volcano is. You don't have to make it like that if you don't want to. Now I'm going to paint my volcano. So I have some black paint, some red paint, and some brown paint. You don't have to paint your volcano. You can leave it plain if you would like. I'm gonna start with some brown and black, and I just put it on a paper plate. And I'm going to, I think I'm gonna start with the black, and I'm gonna paint it on my volcano. So I'm gonna put like a mixture of black and brown because rocks are lots of different colors. Dirt is a lot of soil, and it's like a darker black color, and when it has a nice organic matter in it, a lot of humus. So I'm gonna now paint my volcano a mixture of black and brown, and then I'll come back and add the lava with you. So I'm gonna just paint away here. Okay, I have finished with the black paint. As you can see, I covered the volcano, but I didn't cover every single inch of the volcano in black paint. I left some spots open, and now I'm going to cover it in brown paint. Not quite as much, but I'm just gonna like have the brown mix in because the volcano's not gonna be all black, it's not gonna be all brown. And I want it to kind of look a little messy, like nature. All right, here comes the brown. I want you to see how I'm doing the brown. I did not let my black paint dry because I wanted some mixing and smudging of the colors together. So I'm putting this brown paint right over the top, and it kind of smudges together a little bit, which I like that look because to me, that seems like a more natural look. If you want to have yours not smudged together, then what you need to do is you need to let the black paint dry before you add the brown paint. But as I said, I like the smudgy look. And also, as I also said, you don't have to paint it if you don't want to. I'm doing it because I think it's kind of fun to paint and I have the time to do it. So I finished painting the brown and the black. And you can see I did not cover every single part of the volcano. I still have some parts at the bottom that are unpainted, and there's some parts on where the paper kind of folded that I didn't paint. I'm fine with that. I'm kind of liking the way that this looks, which is kind of like a mixture of the black and the brown. Now, I am going to let this dry for about an hour right now because if I add the red paint on top of the brown and everything, I think it's gonna get too mixy. And I want to be able to see the red lava dripping down. So I'm going to let it dry for about an hour, and then I'm gonna come back and paint some more. Okay, my volcano has dried. It's been about an hour, and now I'm going to add some red paint, and I'm going to let it kind of drip down the sides because I want it to look like it's lava that is oozing down the sides of the volcano. So I'm going to kind of just go like this. I'm going to have my paintbrush really wet, and I'm going to let it just drip down. And if you're in second grade, liquids pour and flow, right? You can see this lava just flowing down the side of the volcano. And when you imagine, this used to be rock, this lava, and it gets really hot. That rock was a solid, and when solids get really hot, they melt and they turn into a liquid. So I'm letting this lava just drip down the sides of my volcano. Ooh, I love the look of the paint dripping down, looking like hot lava dripping down the side of the volcano. It's really cool. I guess it's really hot. Not cool, right? It's a volcano, which is very, very hot. I'm gonna continue letting it drip down, and then I'm gonna let it dry. Right, I am now ready to have my volcano explode. I'm gonna test to make sure that my volcano is the right height for my bottle. So I'm gonna put my bottle inside. Whoops, actually I thought mine was a little too short, so I put a bowl underneath it. And there you go. I want my top, the bottle top, to come out a little bit. And I'm going to use some aluminum foil up at the top to make sure that all of the lava, all of the stuff that I'm going to create goes down my volcano. And it kind of looks like snow on the top of the mountain, right? So here's my volcano. I've got the bottle. It's sticking up, and I put it on a little bowl so it would stick up higher, and I put some aluminum foil. Now, these are the ingredients you need to make the lava. You need some baking soda. You need some vinegar. I like mine to be red, so I have some red food coloring. And I have some hand soap. because if I add hand soap to it, then the bubbles will be thicker and gooier, more viscous, more interesting. So now I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to put some baking soda down into the funnel. I'm going to put another scoop of baking soda. Not a big spoon, but just a, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like one big spoon of baking soda is good. And now I've already mixed my vinegar and soap and red food coloring. And now I'm going to pour it into the bottle. Oh, there we go! Look at that volcano erupting. Oh, it's fantastic. Look at it dripping down the side of the volcano. Now, remember, if you're in second grade, we've been talking about volcanic rocks. So these rocks, do you see how there's all these bubbles in the erupting lava? Imagine that that then dries and it's a hard rock with lots of holes where the bubbles used to be. So that would be scoria, right? And I'm gonna give it a little shake and I should have a little bit more reaction. Wow! And if this had gone and exploded a lot, there would be ash in the air. And as that ash settled down and made layers and layers, that would be called the tuff. Now the basalt would be the lava that's still inside the volcano that hasn't come out and it cools slowly. I'm gonna add some more vinegar to my reaction. Here it goes, come on. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Make sure it reacts. Oh, yes, look at that fantastic volcano. So boys and girls, you can do this with your volcano. When it starts to slow down, give it a little shake, get the reaction to connect a little bit more. And you can also pour in some more vinegar and soap and it'll react more and more and more. I'm gonna keep adding some more. Wow, here it comes again. Go, volcano, go. Have a great Thanksgiving, guys.